Welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today we're reviewing The Hate You Give. So a brief synopsis, without spoilers, of The Hate You Give is basically Star, the main character, is riding home with one of her friends, Khalil, when they get pulled over by a cop. This ends up being a police brutality case when Khalil is shot dead, and Star is the only one who was there to witness this shooting. Star feels like she has to pick between who she wants to be, like who she is in her home life and who she is at school, because they're completely separate. And in the process of this book, she learns how to speak up for herself, speak up for Khalil, and she understands that she doesn't have to be different people in different situations. So if that's interesting to you, I would pick up the book, go watch the movie, it's coming out soon, and yeah, buy non-spoilery, people. Okay, first thing about The Hate You Give is it was completely encompassing of like everything that the book was about. It talked about gangs, it talked about drugs, it talked about police brutality, it talked about friendships. So I'm just going to break those down. So gangs and drugs. Because basically where Star lives, she lives in an area where there are lots of gangs and drugs. And I feel that it was a great job that Angie Thomas used. She was able to humanize these gang members. She was able to say, hey, these are reasons why they have to do this. Like, they're providing for their family and they have no other way. And I think this relates back to The Hate You Give being by, Tupac. How she was saying that basically that because of the system, the way the system is set up, is that everything bad keeps coming back into these communities. And I think that when she humanized the system, it was able to expand our horizons as people, because a bunch of times as a reader, we think that gangs and drugs can be bad, when actually she showed us that there's sometimes the situations that people have to go into in order to do these things. In the situation of police brutality, she really discovered what it was like to feel that you're helpless, especially with the ending when we didn't get the ending that we wanted. I feel that it was conflicting because one, we obviously want to see a win, but two, I think that she honored how it usually happens, that usually the police officers get off. And so I think that that was great of her to include that. I think that Angie Thomas also did a great job with addressing victim blaming, and how a bunch of times we saw Khalil's character be degraded, like, oh, he was a gang member, oh, he was a thug, oh, he was this and this and that. And I feel that Angie Thomas really brought up the point that yes, he was this and that, but he did it for a reason, and even if he didn't do it for a reason, that doesn't justify X, Y, and Z. Another topic that I want to talk about is the character of Haley. Haley was an important character to have because she was able to prove, hey, this is sometimes what people think, and even though you may be in situations that's always what they're going to think. I think it's important that Angie Thomas decided to have a character of Haley, and I think it's important to show that even though people can be exposed to why this doesn't matter, there are still people that are stuck in their ways, and Haley exhibits that, especially how she refuses to acknowledge that what she says can be hurtful, like what she said about Maya and what she said about the chicken joke. Haley never acknowledged that that could be hurtful. She didn't even acknowledge that what she said about Khalil being shot dead, that could be hurtful. And I think that it's important that Angie Thomas uses that, because it shows us that people still may not change. And it's not our responsibility for us to make them change, but it's their responsibility to look within themselves and find that change. So basically, Star has two worlds: the world when she's at home and the world when she's at school. At home, she's just known as her dad, Big Mavs, cashier in the store, because basically that's all they see her at. And at school, she has to pretend to be proper Star and, be the Star that people expect her to be. And I think that it's interesting because by the end of the story, we see that she can be both. She can be who she really wants to be, and then you can see that when she includes her boyfriend Chris and her family, like Seven, and her best friend Kenya, when she includes all those people into her life eventually at the end, that's when you see that she realizes throughout the process of this story that she doesn't have to pick one or the other, and that she can be both, and that she can flourish and to be whoever she wants to be. Also, I really enjoyed the family aspect of the story, because a lot of books, young adult books especially, they don't show families that are prevalent. I think family was a very strong sense, because they didn't push her to stay silent, and they didn't push her to speak up. They let her choose for her own what she was going to do, and they supported her regardless, and that was really refreshing to see. And I also think that because not only her family like her dad and her mom and her two brothers, but the entire community, especially at the end when the store gets burned down, how they come together and they rebuild the community. I also think that it was great to show that not all families are perfect. Like, there are issues, like Big Mav was in jail, but when he came out, he did the best he could provide for his family. And her uncle, how her uncle was always there to take care of her, even in the end, even though eventually Big Mav and her uncle ended up reconciling, and that was a really good moment. And for such a gruesome topic that prevails throughout the entire story, I think Angie Thomas did it really well by weaving in comic relief, because it was a very serious topic and we needed that comedic relief. So yeah, that's basically it. If you have anything else you would like to discuss, please leave it in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Bye! Yeah.